Good evening and welcome to From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. Today's guest is a returner from the first time, one of the first times of the second season that we had. He might have been the first guest of the second season, Mr. Al Hanson. Welcome, Alan, to the show.
Thanks for having me. Second time
What's
around.
going? Come on, man. You were, as I look back, you were the first guest on season number 2 of From the AD's View. So I had to bring you back, man. I had to find out what was going on with you for another year. But Alan, if we talked about the WAC, or the Western Athletics Conference, what would you say in one or two words about the WAC?
Competitively underrated.
Okay, all right. And then year 2 for you as assistant men's basketball coach at Southern Utah University. In a word or two, what would you say?
Evolving.
Okay. All right. All right. And then the last thing, one of the most important things about your job is recruiting. If I asked you about the recruiting process, what would you say in one or two words about it?
Just like the previous question, evolving as well.
All right. All right. These topics and more on From the AD's View. Let's get it. Hey, welcome back to the show. Before I get started, as I do every episode, I have to give honor to God, who is the head of my life, because without Him, none of the things that I'm doing would be possible. Right? Being able to be blessed to have this platform and have this show, being able to do what I do in my professional life as an administrator in intercollegiate athletics, my wife, my children. I'm a dog owner. Anything that I'm doing is because of him. So I want to make sure that I give him the honor that he deserves. Let's bring back Coach Hanson, Alan Hanson, assistant men's basketball coach at Southern Utah University. But he was also an assistant men's basketball coach at the University of Milwaukee, Wisconsin at one point in time, and has been a head coach at the high school level. Coach Hanson, I've seen you personally grow in, within the last, 18 months or so. Right. And you take much pride in what you do and how you approach things and stuff like that. And we're going to get to some of that. But the league that you're playing in right now, Coach, the Western Athletic Conference, at the top of the show, you said that it's a conference that's underrated, right? That they don't look at a lot of the schools and the players in the conference as being, elite players. Tell me a little bit about the Western Athletic Conference and how you all are approaching each game that you are going to come to and as you scout and prepare for those players.
Well, I think the Western Athletic Conference is an extremely competitive conference. Oftentimes people just, think to mention Grand Canyon as being, the top team in the conference, which rightfully so they are and have proven to be. But there's a lot of parity in the conference as well. Teams like Seattle and Cal Baptist and Abilene Christian, Utah Valley, Tarleton, Arlington, all of those teams, you're in for a dogfight every night. Anytime that you're matching up with anyone in the conference. So you definitely have to be prepared and putting your best foot forward to go out and compete.
Excuse me. And as you talk about those teams, right, again, everybody talks about Grand Canyon University because Grand Canyon University, not only are they a good program, right, They are a program that, we always talk about whether or not we're fully funded, or whether or not we have the resources that we need. Grand Canyon, they have some resources, and some, right?
Absolutely.
Um, and what you all are doing at Southern Utah University, you're doing. There's resources there for you, right? You would probably like to have, the same amount of resources as let's say a Grand Canyon, right? How are you all being able to be successful with what you all have, and how are you preparing your student athletes to be successful in what you have right now?
Well, I think Coach Rob Jeter does an amazing job of focusing on us, not necessarily worried about what everyone else is doing and how they're going about things, but focusing on our group, focusing on our team, on our university, on each individual on this team, and just making sure that we're doing things the right way. And that's something that he takes very high pride in, making sure we're going about things the right way and kind of stacking days. And that's what we've been able to do thus far. And we have a philosophy: as long as we take care of ourselves, everything else will fall into play. And that's the best way that we go about it.
Sure. And, speaking of Coach Jeter is, a 30-year coaching veteran. I believe half of that has been as a head coach. He's had an opportunity now to come in and you guys hit the recruiting trail early and heavy last year in the spring, and, have a great group of young men that have completely bought into what Coach Jeter is doing right now. And I believe you all are sitting at a 7-2 record right now, with a big win over Cal Riverside, Bakersfield, excuse me, Cal Bakersfield last night. Can you talk a little bit about the strategy that went into that? Because we lost to them a buzzer beater, a really close game last year, but this year the focus was completely 180, and you guys got the victory. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, talking about the game last night with Bakersfield, we knew the type of team that they are. They're a pressing team that's extremely aggressive on the offensive end. They're going to attack. They're going to attack. They're going to attack. And we put a huge emphasis on, keeping the ball in front and making the guys take tough twos. And that was our big focus, coming off a UCLA game where we didn't perform the way we wanted to perform. We wanted to really come out and get the win and get back in the winning column, and prove to everyone and our fans that we're making some strides to be an elite team in the conference.
And and I believe, and I said this, and I told Coach Jeter, no pressure on him, but I really believe that this team has what it takes to win a WAC championship and get to the NCAA tournament. Right? Our guard play is really good. Guard play is really good. We have defense on the glass, defending the interior. We very, very unselfish play. What is it? What is it this year? Right? Because some of the things that you all talk about, you talk about faith, you talk about family, you talk about humility, you talk about discipline. How have some of those things come to fruition with the team that you have right now, Coach?
Well, I think we have a great group of young men that embody those pillars. We got guys who have humility. There's not egos on this team. Pretty much every guy on this team has a selfless mindset, to where they enjoy seeing each other's success, and I think that's a big part in teams and teams that get a chance to play in March Madness. You have to have some humility. You have to have a selfless attitude and a team winning mindset. And what goes in with that is the discipline piece, and that's been a work in progress and the point of emphasis with the coaching staff, getting the players to understand how important it is to be disciplined, not only on the court but also off the court. And I think when you string those two things together, and have the faith that things will work out, and knowing that you're with your brothers, the family environment kind of comes in, and I think that's what this group has been able to buy into early. They actually care about one another off the floor. They hang out with each other. They spend time together. They're just not together playing basketball, and that's something special to watch, um, going into year two and seeing the team come together the way that it has.
And that togetherness was prevalent because you all were on a 2 week trip
Mhm.
where you left like on the 16th of this month and came back, or earlier, right? And then came back and had a stint where you started, in California, and you ended it there as well. How important are those pillars when you have such a elongated trip like that, Coach, where you're playing, 5, 6 games, and you ended that in the historic Pauley Pavilion at UCLA. Can you tell us a little bit about that trip?
I think that trip was very, very big for us. With it happening so early in the season, us going out to Chicago to face Loyola the night, or actually the morning after having a big home win against Omaha, was huge.
Hmm.
So being able to go out to Loyola with some momentum of having a big win at home against a Summit team that's very competitive, and go into Loyola and play those guys pretty tough, and go over to San Diego, where we were able to win against San Diego and Idaho. I think those two wins there, after coming off a short loss to Loyola, was huge. And then obviously going over to Pauley Pavilion and facing UCLA, um, it was a tough loss for us, but I think it was something that humbled us, and gave us the opportunity to get back home, hit the reset button, and kind of refocus, regrind, and focus on beating Cal Bakersfield, which is what we were able to do.
Sure. And the thing that I particularly remember, and I'm glad that you recalled it because you did start it in the Midwest, um, with several minutes left to go in the game, a few minutes left to go in the game at Loyola, had an opportunity to win that basketball game on the road, right? And that just shows the toughness that your guys have, and the buy-in that they're listening to Coach Jeter and the coaching staff. Because last year's squad, right? Rob's first year, there was some trouble with those translations, right, in the finishing, right, and you don't see that this year with your guys. What do you think it is right now with the communication piece? Why is the communication between Coach Jeter, the coaching staff, and the young men? Why is that so successful right now?
I think it's a couple things. Um, I think one of the pieces is that we're a little bit older now. Um, we have some guys with a little more experience. Where last year around this time we were extremely young. We were playing with guys who, you know, probably had were higher grade level or more experience in college on the academic side, but really were young for their athletic and basketball career. And I think, being a little 1 year older and bringing in some guys with a little more experience, I think that's really helped us. So I think that piece there has really, really helped us get off to a strong start. And the second thing is, I think we're more together. I think we have a group, like I said. Um, we have a team that enjoy playing with each other, enjoy hanging out with each other, that hold each other accountable. We have a team that's built among leadership among several guys and not just one guy. So I think that piece there helps us as a coaching staff really get the message across, and get the guys to understand.
Well, whatever you guys are doing, Coach, keep doing it. Don't stop, because it's fantastic to see the young men, um, buy in and see what it is that you all are trying to share with them to make them successful. But Coach, stay with me. Have to pay some bills right now. Yeah, but before I do that, I really want to give a shout out to the interns that the young people that are on the show, that the graphics that you see on the screen, the voiceovers that you're going to hear for our sponsors, and the banners that you see down here. That's all done by our interns, and that's a tribute to Leon Thomas of the Leon Thomas Group, and they do such a good job recruiting young people in the business of communication and broadcast. But you are watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. We'll be right back after this break.
At Rod's Car Repairs, we work on all cars, old cars, new cars, and your car. Car Repairs by Rod.io.
Baked by Brianna has been your Baltimore hometown bakery since 1969. Located in Roxton Plaza, Baked by Brianna. Visit bakedbybrianna.io.
Announcing the newest show from the Leon Thomas Group, Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen.
Each week, we're going to have kids on the show in their home kitchen, showing us their culinary expertise right here on Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen. If you know of a kid that would be great to have on Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen, contact Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group.
His email address is leon@theleonthomasgroup.com.
That's leon@theleonthomasgroup.com.
Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen.
Welcome back to the show. You're watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. And before I bring back my guest, we're going to talk a little bit about my book. It's something that, if you've seen our episodes before, something that I'm very proud of. Had an opportunity to talk to some of my mentors about the positivity of overcoming barriers. And as you see on the screen, how Black men overcome racial barriers in the status quo and NCAA institutions, a narrative inquiry. And that just means I had an opportunity to sit down and talk to a lot of smart and wise men, right? Because wisdom is something that we all need. And the three themes that came out of it was, one, the importance of having mentors, right? Everybody needs someone that has that experience that can talk to them to help them attain their goals. Two was mentoring the mentor's expectations. We had expectations of mentors, or I had expectations of mentors, and had to meet those expectations, right, in order to continue that relationship. And the last one was positivity of overcoming barriers, right? Whether they were racial barriers, real or imagined, right? Or they were just barriers that you had in overcoming as you're trying to move up in your career. But what it did for me, and what I hope that the read will do for my readers, is that it will show them that there are very positive ways to overcome barriers in your life, right? And in your workplace and things like that. But you can, if you want to get the book, you can get the book at Amazon.com. And it's an easy read for you. If you'd like to see more episodes of From the AD's View, you can go to my YouTube channel, which the call sign is at From the AD's View. Or my YouTube channel is Dr. Cedric M. Brown. You can go there. I can always be seen on the Leon Thomas, or heard on the Leon Thomas radio network, which is incredible. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the LeonThomasGroup.com. Please go, and there's more talented individuals that have episodes and podcasts on that radio network, and they're doing such a remarkable job. We can be seen on Sunday evenings at 7:05 Central, at 8:05 Eastern Standard Time for more open and honest conversations on From the AD's View. But let's bring back Mr. Alan Hanson, assistant men's basketball coach at Southern Utah University. Al, you and I, we cut up a lot, and because we are family, right? We are family. I'm old enough to be your pops, but I'm affectionately Uncle Said, or Doc B. What about the second year of you being here in Cedar City at SUU? Your family, watching my little nephew grow up. Your bride is here with you. What is that like for you here now in year number 2?
I think it's been more settling. A level of comfort is setting in. Obviously, been having mentors and guys like you around who help navigate through things that I need help in and things like that. So being so far away from family is so good to have people like yourself, who we kind of grow and turn into family with. So that's been huge for me. My family seemed to be settling in a little more comfortable. It's completely different from the Midwest of where we're from. So that's been good for us. That's been really good for us. And being here at SUU, as far as on the professional side, I'm a lot more comfortable. Coach Jeter is giving me a lot more responsibility, and I've been taking that with a stride and really honing in on some things. So I'm comfortable. I think the staff is settling in. We're learning one another, and just kind of just feeling at ease. Don't feel
Absolutely
rushed. So things are going well.
And I can attest to that, right? Because we have situations where post game type of things, we spend time together, and we break bread and we have fun, and and our family is growing, right? Because now Parker Haney, who is the assistant sports information director, is a part of our family now, right? We're trying to work with other senior staff members to become a part of the family, and that's so important. The things that you all are doing, but I'm gonna put you on the spot right here, right now, Coach Hanson. Who's the funniest coach on the staff, and why?
Oh, Coach Jeter, man. Like people kind of look at Coach Jeter and always take him as he's so serious at times, and people kind of don't get a chance to see his sense of humor. But as you know, Coach Jeter, he's one of the funniest guys around. Like his sense of humor, he's a jokester as well.
Oh yeah,
I would say Coach Jeter is a funny guy.
So I thought you would have said you or Donald Williams. Donald Williams can Uncle D can be kind of funny a little bit too.
Yeah, Uncle D is definitely funny. He loves to get at me a lot, but I couldn't say myself, man. I'll let you say that, but Coach Jeter, he gives me a chuckle all the time, probably because I know him so well.
Right.
Now, but just
played for him, right?
Yeah, played for him and been around for a long time. So,
but are dad jokes funny though, man? Are dad jokes funny?
I don't know if he doesn't have many dad jokes. He has some good ones, man. Like
he got that quick wit. If we sitting around and we what in our community we call playing the dozens, and we playing the dozens, he got some ones that'll come back really quick. You and I quick with it, but he has some quick ones too.
And he's got
how about Sean Gutting? Is Sean Gutting funny?
Oh, Gutting is hilarious. He's a different funny. Like he's one of those guys where he'll respond to something, and then you may not catch it until you take about 4 or 5 steps, and then you turn around like, oh,
right.
Yeah,
Right.
We got a funny staff, man.
And Gutting is a smart guy, right? And when you talk about stats and when you talk about anything that's inside of athletics, and I don't care what sport it is, he always has something knowledgeable to say, right? And he's a historian. He can go back to
if,
70s, 80s, 90s and pull things out and things like that. But you have a great staff, with Clay Tucker. You have somebody who was in Milwaukee, played there. How is it there's different things that the staff does, right? Everybody has a different responsibility. How is the chemistry on the staff so great for you all right now with Braden, with Tennessee? How is that staff so great?
Well, I think one reason is we've been around each other for a year, and we kind of know what coach expects, and we know what to expect from each other. And then to bring a guy like Braden in, who played for coach at Western Illinois, who knows exactly what coach expects. I think those pieces there are huge for us. And we're selfless guys. We're all about just getting the job done, regardless of who's doing the job. No guy is bigger than the responsibility at hand. So we're just all in. We're just a group of guys. We hang out together, just like the players. We get together and eat meals together. Hang out together. Bowl together. All of those things. So I just think having a staff that's actually your family is something that really helps the success and the translation on the court.
Right. And that is so true. And I've witnessed that myself from the things that you've done. But the other day, and I'm gonna get your response on this. The other day we were all together and breaking bread and everything, and somebody said that Tennessee, Braden, Sean Gutting, and Clay Tucker won a trivia night. Come on, man, stop it. They won a trivia night, Coach.
Braden and T.O. probably use Google. One thing I do know about Sean Gutting is if I was ever on a show, a trivia show, and I had a landline,
a phone call, a lifeline,
I'm calling Sean Gutting.
You should call Sean Gutting for the lifeline.
Sean Gutting or Duffy Conroy, who's an assistant at Tulsa, University of Tulsa. Those two guys, they know a little bit about a lot.
Okay. All right. And I wasn't saying that as in they're very intelligent people. I'm just thinking, that's not, the niche in our group. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that, I'm like, what?
I got to see.
They said they won convincingly. They won outright, right?
I don't know how many teams were actually in that trivia.
Right. Probably two teams. And yeah.
Just two teams, and we'll leave it at that.
Right. So the last topic that I want to talk to you about, Coach, is recruiting, and I know that it's something that you obviously take very serious, and you've done a really good job of bringing in some of the talent that we have, and some of the young men that you've recruited will probably have some postseason awards and things like that, and so. What is your process, Coach, when you start to recruit a young student athlete, a prospective student athlete? What is your process that you go through when you want to build that relationship with that student athlete?
I think the biggest thing is getting to know them, getting to know how they respond to adversity is one thing that I think is important when you're recruiting a student athlete, because you're going to face some adversity, and you're going to be in an environment that's completely foreign to you. And you have to be able to still, persevere and keep chucking along. And I think that's huge. Learning the student athletes, learning what they love, learning things that makes them uncomfortable, learning their background, their family life, their social life, and actually developing a relationship with these guys. And I think that's something that I try to, get off to with a quick start, is just letting them know just being able to relate, being able to offer information and offer my experience, because ultimately they have to come in and play for Coach Jeter, and being able to express to them and translate things with them to know that I played for Coach Jeter for 3 years.
Right.
So I think that's really important, is for them to be able to understand the things that he expects, the things that agitate him, the things that, you know, he looks for, and those things. So I think those are things that are important from the start. And then as you get to know them, just kind of understand what type of competitors they are, because that's something we're really, really big on, and not just competitive on the court, competitive in everything, competitive off the court, competitive in the classroom, competitive in your community, just being able to be a stand-up student athlete within the community, and really understand that you're, excuse me, understand that you're bigger than, it's just not about you. It's about
Sure.
your team, and you're a reflection of the coaching staff and the university, and high character men. So I think those are things that I look for and try to get, navigate through right away. And then as things go, the level of comfort sets in. I usually don't have an issue developing a relationship with people. So that's something I take a lot of pride in.
Sure, sure. And those all sound like, the tenets needed to have a good process of recruiting prospective student athletes. Coach, before we close up, if anybody wanted to get in contact with Coach Alan Hanson, how could they get in contact with you, Coach?
You can get in contact with me. My email is Alan Hanson, or alhanson12 at yahoo.com. And you can get in touch with me on X at Alan_Hanson12. Those are the two social media platforms that I use. So if you want to get in touch with me, that's the best way.
Well, Coach, as always, man, and I say this, very with bias and affection, that I think that, as a young and up and coming assistant men's basketball coach, I think that you are doing a remarkable job right now. That you are, your growth and development as a young coach is remarkable. It's perpetual, and that you're doing a very wonderful job in developing and helping young men grow right now, and it's showing, because you're helping Coach Jeter win basketball games. So I appreciate you once again for coming on the show, almost a year to the day, the last episode that you came on. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself and your family and the things that are going on. And I wish you all the best, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward for the third time. I got to come back again. Come on.
Well, we gonna get it. Maybe we'll talk about them that football team in Wisconsin, pro football team.
Packers.
Oh yeah, the Green Bay Packers. Oh yeah. So we might have to talk about them if they do something, right? If Love can get them some love in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, young fella. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm talking to Coach Alan Hanson and appreciate him so much for being here. And my thought for the week this week is that, when you think about opportunities, young people specifically, when you think about opportunities, and let's say you're in school and you haven't decided what you want to do and the way that you want to go, look at sport administration. Look at it, right? Sport management. It's an opportunity for, if you can't continue to play in the sport that you love, then you can be around sport or sports and make a difference in young people's lives, right? Whether it's working with women, whether it's working with men, if it's at the interscholastic level, if it's working with boys, if it's working with girls, it gives you an opportunity to do what it is that I know that you can do, and that's lead. It gives you an opportunity to lead, right? And leadership is not something that You can lead out front, right? But most leaders are leading by pushing others up, right? That you're servant leaders, that you're allowing people to stand on your shoulders and lead that way. So if anybody that's watching this episode, if sport administration is something that you've ever thought about, sport management something you ever thought about, uh, give it a great opportunity, in your mind to think about, because it's a wonderful opportunity. It's a wonderful industry to work within. Like I said, if you need advice, please email me at from the AD's view at gmail.com. Email me there, or you can get on any one of my social media platforms and direct message me for that, because we need more quality people in athletic administration. We really do. We need more quality women. We need more quality people of color. We need, more quality individuals. We need the best and the brightest in this industry. And I challenge you to take a good look at it, because it's been a blessing for me. I have this platform because of being in athletic administration, and it's something that I will always cherish and be very thankful and grateful for. You are watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. Good night and God bless.